Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you guys are doing well. We have a couple of stuff to talk about. I'm sure you guys have all seen it. It's all over Twitter. It's all over the news. The unfortunate passing of Charlie Kirk. I admire Charlie Kirk. I always, was a fan of his, especially I'd say since last year is when I kind of saw him floating around social media. I don't want to make the whole stream about this because we do have, of course, crypto stuff to talk about. My show is not fully a political show. Yes, we do touch on politics, but it's never, specifically on one side. Sure, I do share my beliefs and what I think about how things are going in the world, but when it comes to stuff like this, like in general, political violence, not good at all. And of course, thoughts and prayers are to his family. I saw the video, man. It was really brutal. Kind of wish I didn't. I don't know. The curiosity gets to you. You see, and it's always gonna show up eventually. Social media with, anybody could post anything on Twitter. You're gonna see it. So, yeah. Tragic day today. I'm sure it'll be remembered everywhere. He's practically a martyr at this point, dying for the faith, dying for what he believed in. Um, if you don't know who he is, he was a right wing political commentator. I would say he would go to college campuses, have debates, open mic debates with a lot of the students. Um, he had really good, well thought, compelling points, and like I said, I started watching him since like last year, especially during the election of Trump, that kind of era. All of that was covered, and yeah, I feel the same as how I felt last year when there was that political assassination attempt on Donald Trump, of course. And I even remember watching Charlie Kirk's coverage on that and reiterate the same thing. There's no room for political violence when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, yeah, there. I've said my part. We will touch more on it when we get to our news section. But like I said, I do have to get through what I have to get through because this is the hour that, even for me, I analyze stuff just to kind of see what I think will happen, where we will be going from here in terms of like our crypto analysis, right? So we had a clear resistance for Bitcoin, 113,000. We broke through that today and we were met with our next resistance. We actually hit a high today of 114,279, which is fantastic. I am finally up a lot. I'd say this is a lot, but not enough. I'm going to be greedy with my Bitcoins. Not necessarily greedy. I'm just sticking to my strategy and to my analysis. I do have my take profit at 135,000, a super conservative level that I believe we will, yes or yes, hit this year. One could argue 150k, maybe. There's a good possibility of that, but as the numbers get higher and people's targets grow more, I start to doubt a little bit more and more because you do require a lot of capital and I don't know who's going to keep on buying. And we are nearing the end of the bull cycle, the bull run. So we still got many weeks left in us, I'd say, to continue the bull run. So that's that for now. I think we should still, rise within the upcoming weeks. We have rate cuts to look forward to. We got PPI data that came out today, which was very good, and that is why we had our pump earlier this morning. And CPI data is coming out tomorrow. Next week, 1 week from now, we will have that Fed interest rate decision. So good, great stuff. Very optimistic for all of that. Super trend has risen to, it's still on the rise, 109,554 is where this uptrend invalidates, meaning we're more likely to have this uptrend, the one we would be following or paying attention to. I'd still keep both these drawn just in case. I do want to figure out where exactly, if we do drop, maybe we do have this next level to look forward to if in the future this uptrend does get broken. I doubt it. I still think we will maintain at least this one to continue the rest of the bull run. I think it's shallow enough that it can continue for a good period of time. So, yep, good stuff there. Most of this was in the green. I think it's practically the same way it was this morning. Sonic has a drop today, and Aave somehow has a drop today, which we'll also be analyzing those. So that's what we got for Bitcoin here. I really wish we could just break out of this 114,000, liquidate all the shorts. What happened to the shorts? I was expecting, you know, a breakout of 113,000 would immediately shoot us to 117. Seems like we're taking it a little bit slow because admittedly, yes, we will be getting the CPI data tomorrow, which arguably is the determining inflation data between the PPI or CPI, producer price index or consumer price index. At the end of the day, we care more about what the consumers are paying in terms of inflation. The producers, like I said, it was good data. The inflation came less than expected, and we'll analyze the effects on the rate cut probabilities when we get there. So we have that to look forward to. In the other news, we also, just to touch upon this while I'm at it, world conflicts, that's kind of starting to stir up a little bit again. There were reports that Israel is back at it again, striking Qatar of all places, because some Hamas people were there. I don't know. A lot of leaders, global leaders, condemning this attack because it's like, okay, Qatar is a sovereign nation. They're not at war with you guys. Why are you, attacking them? So it's like, okay, there we go. Middle East is back at it again. I don't know if there was any resolution yet with the subsea cables that were cut by allegedly the Houthis in Yemen. Not too sure what's going on there yet. Microsoft has not provided any updates, not that I know of. And we also have a bit of an escalation going on in Russia, Ukraine. Now Poland is sort of getting, feeling the heat, so to speak. They had to shoot down a couple of drones coming from Russia, which, fair enough. Credit where it's due. Ukraine also accidentally attacked Poland with their drones, and they put the blame on Russia, or that they were trying to hit Russia or whatever. It's part of war. Another country is going to get hit unintentionally, and, now the NATO guys are like, oh, well, looks like we're going to have to set up an emergency meeting here to discuss what's going to happen. So there's that going on for them in Europe as well. Like I said, we'll be discussing that when we get there. Moving on to the rest of the analysis. Ethereum is 4,377 current price. We had a good pump reaching our resistance this morning. Our high was $4,452.83. Kind of retraced back down to this downtrend line that I have drawn. We're breaking out of it though. Once we are able to break out the 4,454, we'll be in an uptrend for Ethereum once again. Unfortunately, this means that this order over here will not get filled, which I am totally fine with. I do not want exposition into Ethereum. I just put it there so that it looks like I want exposition, but I really don't. Solana is super strong, and it's impressive. It's outperforming Ethereum, it's outperforming Bitcoin at this point. $225.45 for Solana. That is amazing. Our highest today was $225.87. So we're like right next to that level, about to break up and continue higher, hopefully, for Solana. I have no more levels. I might have to look at the USDT chart. Never mind, we do have levels. Resistances. We're no longer looking for support, so I'm going to delete this Fibonacci level. Do I even keep these orders here? I will. What's the harm? I don't need the money yet. So we have our drop from the all-time high 294.68 to this low 95. Imagine that kind of a drop. Did you guys remember this? I survived through it, just to humbly flex. And I'm not fully out of the woods yet with that. I have purchases all the way from January in Solana at levels like 230, 220, around that ballpark. And I mean, those are finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So I shall probably consider taking some profits, even though they're probably minimal, out maybe just to average out some of my entries. I don't know. They're on my standard futures account, so I'd have to double check those later. On my ETFs for my tax-free savings accounts, the Canadian Solana ETFs that I have invested in, I did take profits on those today, and it was this morning, and it was at the very, very top, which I know, right? I'm so good at what I do. We're probably going to break that and continue higher. Markets are closed right now, so what do I care? That's what you get for investing in ETFs. But hey, tax-free growth, sure. Although it's very minimal and pathetic, but it's fine. I might have to, like, I'm going to try, maybe one of my goals would be to max out my tax-free savings account. But then if I do that, I'll probably just be reckless with it and start wasting a lot of money in bad trades. And once you contribute to your tax-free savings account, that's it. Like, there's you can withdraw, but it's like, what are you going to withdraw at a loss if you lose, right? That's like the one trading account that you're not allowed to lose in. So it's important in that sense. The government gives you some limits to how much you're able to invest in. So yeah, great. Love the government. Anyways, super trend is shooting up still. Its levels at 206.206. Interesting. And it's rising. My Pengu trade, blowing chunks, welcome. I did not have it open anymore. I took profits on that today. Good thing you reminded me to talk about that. It was making me some good return, 250, I think. So, this is the wrong pair, Pengu, USDC. Yeah, I took profits on it today, right over here. I purchased down over here, of course, as we saw, it was lateralizing. Did not get this second order filled for me, which was unfortunate, but it started rising. And I'm like, yeah, we're at the top here. We're overbought. It's time to take some profits. So I did. How much did I make? That's not it. USDC. Here. 245. So yeah, basically 250 in profit. Which I decided, like, yeah, that's good enough. We'll take that. And then I'll leave this order here just in case we do continue dropping. Might regret it, might not. We'll see. My biggest play, though, is Bitcoin. And I'm like, hey, if a meme coin goes up, something that's supposed to be worth nothing, I'll just take something out of it. So that was my thought process. Yes, I did take profit on Pengu. So there you go. I don't know if you want to take profits as well, or if you already have. Let me know. Moving on, we got XRP. About to break $3, $2.99 currently. I have my average price at $2.79, so that is in profit 218 at the moment, but I don't think I will be taking profits quite yet. It's pathetic here too. Only 580 that I'd be getting when it reached 333. Hey, when XRP moves, it moves. Like, it's going to have, like, its one day of explosive growth like this. We see that with XRP always. Like, it has this parabolic movement, and then we have, like, its decay, and then some sharp movement upwards, and then a decay. Sharp movement upwards, decay. So, we're slowly on the rise right now. I think we're preparing for a sharp movement upwards. It should take us to 333. That's where I see our resistance. That's why I put a take profit there. And, of course, the decay shall continue. Did you know XRP releases 1 billion tokens into the ecosystem every month, the first of every month? Those token unlocks, but there's only so much they can do. I think they only got, what is it, 40 more months in them? Because their max supply is 100 billion XRP tokens. And in circulation, there is 60 billion approximately. So they only got 40 billion more to dump onto the market, unless they do something with their tokenomics that I am not aware of. But yeah. So you're holding Pengu for a minute, not in a rush to close the trade. 50% profit. Yeah, that's also another thing that I saw. Like, the percentages for the rest of these, they were not at 50%, right? And I'm like, okay, if I'm making 50% return on something that was, you know, just put there for fun on a meme coin, yeah, 50% return, I'll gladly have that. So that was my thought process there. Good, yeah. It's awesome. Market pays you for being right. Sui is also on the rise, finally, I guess getting that, the contagious rise from Solana. That was inevitable, and I saw it coming from a mile away. I Third largest position, I think, is what I have on Sui. About 3,000 in there. Making 674 right now in profit. Met with our resistance. I don't know. We got a lot. No, this is not a resistance. Let me delete this. We're no longer looking for supports. So we bottomed out. What is this number? 310 and the top of 444. Where are we expecting resistances? Oh, I guess we're technically on one right now. Fair enough. Okay. I'll draw that there. Continuation. I wouldn't pay too much attention to pivots, but 377 is looking like the next resistance. Yeah. All right. I don't know. I feel like we're just going to immediately magnetize to near $4 with Sui. It does have its explosive growths in a day. Not like XRP kind of growths, but like I'm saying, you're just going to see everything go up like 5% and then Sui will be up like 20% for no reason. That kind of movement. The volume is there. So that's what I like to see for Sui. Cardano finally flipped to an uptrend, breaking this downtrend over here. 88 cents on our way up, met with our resistance, 93 next resistance. My average price is 82. It's in profit of 154. I wish it would be more though. Or maybe I'm underexposed into Cardano. That's probably it. Yeah, 750. I'm way underexposed. But I wanted this order to get filled. I rushed these two orders. If I was patient, that would have been filled over here. But it is what it is. Why did I put 76? Oh, because of the support, probably. Yeah. We didn't drop lower than that, unfortunately. So 78 was your bottom. There you go. I removed Litecoin, by the way. Just a small little subtle change that I did. I still have exposition to Litecoin, but it's just it hasn't been moving so much. And what am I making at 300? 500? No, what? What did I do here? When Litecoin hits 300, oh, here it is. I make $2,500. That's ever gonna happen. But good movement today from Litecoin nonetheless. Downtrend is broken and we are up. So good. I'm really underexposed in Litecoin though. So we're met with a resistance. 117 should rise up to 121. Cool. Let me talk about Chainlink here. I did DCA some positions into Chainlink, although it was really risky to do so because Chainlink had a great movement in the past couple of weeks. A huge rally, right? Compared to the rest of the other altcoins, especially with the news that Chainlink is now being allowed to... They will be used by the economic reporters. What do you even call these people? The Board of Economic Advisors. Is that even a thing? On releasing on-chain data for economic data. I can't explain it, but you know what I mean. Python Network benefited the most, but Chainlink was also part of that. So there you go. Oracle plays at a good area right now. We're at a resistance. 23.75 is the resistance. 23.65 is the current price. We need to break that, and then we'll be in an uptrend for Chainlink officially. We technically did break this line downward, so that was excellent. This was the day of the news that they got integrated by the United States to provide economic data. So there you go. 21, I had another order, but it did not get filled, so I'll leave that there. World Liberty Financial. I'm wondering, should I even enter this? USDC pair is now available, so that's what I will be using to trade, but I mean, we did see my previous trades in World Liberty Financial with USDT pair, and it has more history as well. I tried copying it to the best of my ability, like the data, because I don't have the historical data on USDC. It's fresh, it just came out. So I have to look at this one if I want to have a look at, you know, RSI levels or support resistances, whatever. We're at one right now. Of course, the $20 cents is a support, but I don't know. We break below that, could take us to 16 again. I feel like this is a little too harsh. There's no, oh, pivot support is so far. That's crazy. But that's also where this uptrend invalidates, is at 16. Might go there. I don't know. I'll stay out of the project for now. But it's good that it's finally in USDC, so I'm happy for that. Stellar finally making some moves at last. Uptrend confirmed. and 37 is my average entry. 38 is where the current price is. I'm taking profits at 49, which should make me 3.7k. Hopefully that does happen. My second largest exposition is in Stellar. Not on purpose. It was just all by chance. It was just all me DCAing, and it just happened to have dropped the most out of the rest of these, right? So that's why I have what I have in Stellar. Aptos is also here. It's been doing great. I've kept saying this is probably the safest play, and we'll see if I was right. If that was indeed the bottom. The fact that we do not ever in history of Aptos drop below, what was it, $4, I think? Oh, we did drop below that, 370. We never gone below $3, let's just say. So I get liquidated at 280, I think, from here. I could check the level. 290, yeah. That's really safe in my opinion. So, I don't know, I didn't really put my money where my mouth is, because I could have put in a lot more, so there's that, but it is what it is. Pepe, it's rising as well, but not as much as Pengu, that's why I sold Pengu. And Ave is just stuck at the bottom. What are you doing? We rise above 315, that would be great, breaking out of that resistance. Should happen soon. Sleeping giant over here. Alright. That's all for a technical analysis. We're at 114,000. Hopefully we continue rising from here. What are the liquidation levels looking like? Haven't looked at them in a hot minute. So we'll take a look. Give me 2 weeks data. This takes a while to load. After this, we'll discuss the world events and then our economic data and rate cut probabilities. So it looks like the liquidations, it's literally right above what we just rose over here. This is from today. This is a couple $2 billion that's going to get liquidated, and we should slow down at 117. Yeah, basically what I've been analyzing. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we do just continue breaking out. Should immediately shoot us up to 117, although a midnight pump, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Hopefully. Or maybe tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's got to be the catalyst, right? CPI data. If it comes in line with expectations, we'll be at 117,000 tomorrow. Do not quote me on that. I could be absolutely wrong, but we'll see. All right, let's start. Charlie Kirk passed away. I explained it briefly at the beginning of the stream, but it is indeed saddening news to see it happen. Everybody is posting their love and appreciation and sadness and regret for the passing, regret to hear what happened and everything, and everybody condemning the attack, the political violence, all of that stuff that has been going on. House of Republicans saying a father, husband, son, man of Christ, titan of modern conservatism, may God bless Charlie Kirk and his family. Even the president himself is talking about this, so it's a big deal whether or not you care. In honor of Charlie Kirk, Trump says, a truly great American patriot, I'm ordering all American flags throughout the United States lowered to half-mast until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. There you go, the official mandate from President Trump to commemorate Charlie Kirk. He was the CEO of this company, Turning Point USA. Is it a company? An organization, I guess, where, yeah, a political organization where he went to many places throughout the world, debated a lot of college students, mainly was what he was known for, but a lot of people in general is who he debated, and he was really good at what he did. Really solid speaker, great talent. And they came out with this message, his organization, saying it is with a heavy heart that we confirm that Charlie James Kirk has been murdered by a gunshot that took place during Turning Point USA's The American Comeback Tour campus event at Utah Valley University today, September 10, 2025. May he be received into the merciful arms of our loving Savior who suffered and died for Charlie. We ask that everyone keep his family and loved ones in your prayers. We ask that you respect their privacy and dignity at this time. Fair enough. Um, yeah, this was like at the start of his tour, I think, the American Comeback Tour. It might have been one of the first events that he was doing for it. If you don't know the details of it, you know, huge stadium. He's in the center, under a tent, debating. This is where conspiracy theory starts coming in and is like, okay, well, what do we do with this information? I don't know if I talk. No, I don't talk about it yet, but yeah, the event at Utah University. He's debating somebody on specifically transgenderism, gun violence. Suspicious, isn't it? And then, as soon as he's talking about the gun violence, all that, he gets shot right in the throat, and of course, everybody just... It was just a single gunshot, and everybody starts screaming, running away. Yeah, it was really tragic. So, Trump posted this on Truth Social. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you, says President Trump. He was a key role in getting a lot of the young college voters to vote for Donald Trump during the elections, right? Like I said, it was a huge deal, right? So everybody, you see it all over here, right? Talking about Charlie Kirk. So it's a big deal. I'm not going to show everybody's response to it because a lot of world leaders, right? UK Prime Minister, Italy Prime Minister, you know, all these countries, Israel Prime Minister, United States, everybody was giving their condolences. A lot of influencers as well. And so I'm just going to stick with the main ones. And the main one was of course, Donald Trump. And I'll stick with Canada as well. Pierre Poilievre, of course, leader of the Conservative Party here in Canada, expresses his condolences for the family. But Mark Carney does not, surprisingly. And I checked to confirm, and indeed, Mark Carney did not denounce or say nothing about Charlie Kirk. Of course, liberals, leftists, whatever. So there was this guy who was taken into custody. His name was George Hodson Zinn, the suspected shooter. But it turns out that, no, he's innocent. He did not do the shooting. He was just one of the first people arrested. He was, like, ranting and, like, as he was being taken away in handcuffs, he was like, oh, shoot me, shoot me. And I was like, okay, wait, what? Did you do that? Did you shoot Charlie Kirk? But no, at the end of the interrogation, they just released him. Another person was also taken into custody, but also released. So they captured 2 people, but it wasn't them. The suspect is still at large. We don't know who did it. They were saying it was a shot that was like about, it felt like 200 feet away. A single rifle gunshot. And it was a direct hit at Charlie Kirk. So, yeah. We don't know for sure what's going on, but you can see from like a replay video, if you look closely at the roof, you can see there's a person right over here running off, right? After that gunshot was taken. So it seems like the shooter is probably right there. Also, another thing, like the security concerns. Did we not learn about what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania with Donald Trump? There was not enough security and we didn't check the roofs. That's how this shooter got away. But, I mean, well, the counter snipers ended up killing Thomas Matthew Crooks, the assassination attempt guy. But this time around, I mean, sure, Charlie Kirk is not the president. He wouldn't have counter snipers around. But from what I heard, he was very underprotected, understaffed by security, I would say. So maybe there could have been more that could have been done to prevent this from happening. But yeah. So sniper takes his shot, runs off. We don't know who it is. but we have little glimpses of that. We're now like everybody is using their internet detective skills to try to figure out, did anybody talk about this kind of stuff? Was there anybody alluding to a possible shooting? And the answer is yes, actually. We found some people on Twitter. This guy saying yesterday, September 9, he's saying, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him literally. And then he also posted, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. Reminder, this was yesterday. And something big did indeed happen today. That's why we were at FBI, at Kash Patel. Do something. Find out who this person is. Now, that of course gained a lot of attention. And Mr. Omar over here gives his opinion on what happened. He said, Charlie Kirk got shot. Bro, I promise I didn't have anything to do with it. But I called it, and it's so deserved, is what he says. Okay, well, first of all, that's just scum. And all the people that are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, you have no heart and you're scum. Like, why? There's no point in that. There's no need for that. But either way, this guy probably knew something, or maybe, I don't know, something could have instigated that whole thing. I don't know. But we'll leave it to the FBI, who are doing their best to figure it out. And I'm sure they will. There's a lot of cameras in that area. There's a lot of people filming. We got to get some more details. Everything is still in development, so as time goes on, we should hopefully figure something out. And we'll see what we do with the perpetrator. Of course, it's not the only violence that's been going on. There's also that racial violence that we've seen with Irina Zarutska, who got assassinated by this homeless guy. I covered it a couple days ago. It was terrible news. She's a Ukrainian refugee, 23 years old, my age, and just randomly just gets stabbed in the neck by this guy on the public transport. Yeah, it's also a rough video to watch. Wow, it's my timeline has just been filled with all this stuff that you see on Twitter, you know. But hey, we're all, you know, trying to do our best to make her famous, make her name heard. She's going to be like that George Floyd for the white people is what the sentiment feels like. Elon Musk is offering $1 million to fund murals in major US cities featuring the face of this lady, Irina Zarutska, the Ukrainian refugee fatally stabbed in a random attack by a man. By the way, he had 14 prior arrests while she was riding a train home from work. President Trump has called for Carlos Brown Jr. to face the death penalty for the alleged murder. That is the guy over here. Yeah, he's calling for death penalty, and honestly, yeah, do it. We are heartbroken beyond words. Irina came here to find peace and safety, and instead her life was stolen from her in the most horrific way, her family said in a statement. No family should have to go through this. And, of course, the media, I covered this. They did not give any coverage about it at all, the time that it happened. And that's why people on Twitter were mainly outraged, is that, okay, this act of violence happens, and of course the media doesn't cover it. It doesn't fit the narrative. So we're going to make it really popular on Twitter. And that they did. So we now have like all these famous political commentators or people with high power status or just billionaires, rich people, important people, let's just say people like Elon Musk, you know, making a case out of this to have everybody hear about the story that they do not hear in media coverage. And now, of course, we are getting some media coverage, some about Irina. That even the president had to go out and issue a statement. Donald Trump did talk about this, so I commend him for that. He also posted this on Truth Social. The animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety. He should be given a quick, there is no doubt, trial and only awarded the death penalty. There can be no other option. Do the same with Charlie Kirk's shooter, please. It would make the world a better place. But yeah, that basically concludes the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm sure when we get more news about it, we'll discuss that. any updates on the case, if we find anything about the suspect, what we do with that guy, what his intentions are, him or her, we don't know. It could be a they them for all we know, because they were literally talking about trans gun violence, and not too long ago we had a school shooting that happened from a trans person. I can't recall if it's man to woman or woman to man, and at this point, who cares? I'm pretty sure it's man to woman. Whatever. Caroline Leavitt just exposed every reporter for not reporting on Irina's murder, saying that many journalists in this room spilled plenty of ink on Daniel Penny, for example, also another thing that I talked about, for trying to defend a subway car from a deranged lunatic in New York City. Similar deal, what happened there. Black person starts, I don't know, I don't remember what he was doing, but surely threatening people's lives at that point, where U.S. Marine, I think, is what Daniel Penny was, or something to do. He had some combat experience. He was able to place the guy that was committing the nuisance into a chokehold, which I think it killed him. And, you know, they made it a whole political thing, or a whole racial thing. But that's literally self-defense. I don't know. I'm not too well educated on that specific case, but I mean, this one was just senseless killing, and something's got to be done for it. In other news, talk about this first. There were 8 liquefied natural gas railway cars of Poland's oil and gas giant PKN Orlen that are on fire in Lithuania after a major explosion near Vilnius, Lithuania. Russian drones and strange explosions hit Poland's security interests on the same day. Suspicious. What is Russia doing to Poland? And even Trump has commented on it. What is with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go. Of course, they're expanding the whole conflict. And Russia also said, now talking to Finland of all people, the Finnish establishment mustn't forget, confrontation with Russia can lead to the collapse of Finnish statehood, this time forever. Unlike in 1944, no one will go soft on them this time. A threat? What is going on from Russia? Russia's just like pointing fingers in all directions. And keep in mind, Finland, Poland, these are NATO countries. You attack them, United States has to get involved. England, France, Russia, Germany, the rest of the NATO countries will also get involved. And, of course, Ukraine is the little scapegoat in the middle that they're both kind of indirectly at war with each other over, right? Because we are still arming Ukraine, supplying them with weapons and defense. So, there's that. There was also the attack in Qatar that I mentioned from Israel. This is so funny. Mark Carney says that it's not just Mark Carney, everybody was saying this. Whatever country, insert your country here, condemns Israel's strikes in Qatar, an intolerable expansion of violence and an affront to Qatar's sovereignty. Regardless of their objectives, such attacks pose a grave risk of escalating conflict throughout the region and directly imperil efforts to advance peace and security, secure the release of all hostages, and achieve a lasting ceasefire. Efforts in which Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, what a long name, plays a highly constructive role. Is that even a name? I have no idea. But yeah, there's that going on. I think a couple days ago as well, there was a terrorist attack in Israel, in East Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody opened fire also on public transport. Man, public transport is just having a bad day. Rough to be in the public transport business, isn't it? But yeah, terrorist attack, somebody's shots fired in East Jerusalem. Hamas claimed responsibility for that. This is likely payback, but involving Qatar into this, I feel like they're just indirectly, you know, suffering the consequences of this war. It happened, of course, a couple months ago when, what specifically happened? There were like missiles flying above Qatar, and they're like, hey, you're violating our airspace. You're not allowed to shoot at each other. This was Israel and Iran when they were launching missiles at each other. Iran launched missiles on Qatar or something. The United States even had to help defend, and only one of them had an impact, but it was like far in the desert that nobody cared about. So I don't know. Qatar's in this uneasy place at the moment. But I don't think we've heard any response from Qatar other than the fact that they're upset about it. So there's that going on. And then the cartel drug war that we have going on. The United States, of course, now labeling the cartel members in South America as terrorists, so now we can use our military weapons on them. We're destroying their boats, and okay, what is wrong with my video glitching out? Whatever, ignore the video, it's not important. The US Coast Guard just blew up a boat carrying drugs bound for the United States. Trump admin is not playing nice with narco-terrorists. It's about time. This will save countless American lives. Great. India updates. Trump tells the European Union to impose 100% tariffs on China and on India. Safe to say, I don't think that's going to happen. And there was... Oh, I don't want to show that yet. You can see the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot. I mean, if you really want to. I don't know why you would. I saw it. I was not happy to see that. The EU is unlikely to impose tariffs on China or India despite requests from President Trump. So... seems like that will not really happen. But Trump has posted this on Truth Social as well. He is pleased to announce that India and the United States are continuing negotiations to address the trade barriers between our two nations. I look forward to speaking with my very good friend Prime Minister Modi in the upcoming weeks. I feel certain that there will be no difficulty in coming to a successful conclusion for both our great countries. So there we go. We're finally going to see what they end up doing, but I feel like Trump is going to really pressure India to help, I don't know, to make Russia stop this war, because Russia and India are very closely allied, right? That's Trump's little like backdoor to try to get to Russia in terms of like hurting them economically, indirectly sanctioning them to say the least, right? So we'll see. And the fact that he was calling on the European Union to impose tariffs on China and India is also just like, hey, contribute to the effort to pressure Russia by putting tariffs on their top clients, China and India, so that we can finish this Ukraine war as fast as possible. He's looking at different angles, and I can appreciate that. So, good. Anyways, crazy stuff. Charlie Kirk shot, Irina Zaruska murder, Russian drone attacks in Poland, Qatar getting bombed by Israel, Nepalese government falls as well. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but for some reason in Nepal, something, the youth is like getting shot at. 14, I think, died by the government. I think they're communists or something. They were trying to take down like a communist flag from one of their main city centers. I don't know what it was. But yeah, there's also that going on for them. And out of respect, why are we making meme coins for Charlie Kirk and Irina? Like, I don't think that, okay. Because that's just why the meme coin community, that's why it died last year. It got so toxic that we were making meme coins out of like really unfortunate events. That's why Pump Fun got shut down for practically a minute by the United States, because even the live stream stuff was getting out of hand, right? You had literally people killing themselves live on Pump Fun, and you know, meme coins are just getting out of hand. So anyway, moving on from world political events, crazy world that we live in. US PPI data came in. So what did we get? We were expecting 3.3% inflation. We actually had 2.6% inflation from producers. This means that tariffs, not bad. And with the recent jobs report, common inflation data could mean a larger rate cut, a 50 basis point rate cut. And that percentage, we'll check it right now. Let's see what we got. Okay, nothing changed. 92% chance that we'll get a 25 basis point rate cut. 0% chance that we keep rates where they are. So that is out of the chart. 8% chance that we get a 50 basis point rate cut. I think that's too much. I still think we're going to get a 25 basis point rate cut. Seems like the most viable option. But the possibility of 3 rate cuts for this year is still there, so that is a good thing, and I'm also optimistic about. And why are we not pumping harder because of that? Probably waiting for CPI, which is coming out tomorrow. Trump commented on this, of course. There's no inflation. Too late must lower the rate, referring to Jerome Powell. He is a total disaster who doesn't have a clue. So there you go. Of course, Trump always trying to put the pressure on Powell to cut rates. What else we got? Congress introduces a bill directing the Treasury to outline a plan to custody Bitcoin acquired by the federal government, including Bitcoin held in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. Finally, we're going to get some insight on how we're going to fund this little strategic reserve that we have. Maybe the dream of buying 200,000 Bitcoins every year for 5 years will become a reality at some point. That would be great. That would make the United States hold 1,200,000 Bitcoins, which is a large chunk of the supply, like over 5%. I don't know the math. You do the math. The SEC delays Franklin's spot Solana ETF. I don't know till when. It's a speed bump, not necessarily a roadblock. Like, for example, Solana rallied 27% after Canada's approval. US institutions are simply calibrating their entry. Markets priced this weeks ago. DeFi total value locked of $12 billion tells the real story, which is true. Solana has been absolutely on a roll, and it's still going. I think we didn't really break it yet. 225 still. Really good for Solana. And like I said, I took profits on my Solana ETFs today because I deserve it. I've been holding for a while. Sonic has partnered with BitGo to custody Sonic tokens for the US ETF, a leading custodian with over $100 billion assets under custody. Let's explore. I'm assuming that's what AUC stands for. I know AUM is assets under management, and we're talking about custodians, so assets under custody, maybe. Sonic, of course, making big moves. They had their token unlocks happen yesterday, and this is probably why we're seeing a crash in the price today. It happened earlier today. Of course, I purchased today because I thought I was underexposed. We dump, and whatever. It dropped my average price a little bit, but it could have dropped it more if I purchased the absolute bottom, which I don't think anyone would have ever guessed that this would have been the bottom. I have another order here nonetheless. If we do get close to that, so we can finally get it filled. Because I still feel like I'm underexposed into Sonic, although I still have 750 practically in here. I would like more, because I know Sonic is going to be really, really good. Okay, what did they say about this? When institutions buy shares of an ETF, they need assurance that the underlying assets are held securely, properly segregated, and protected against theft or loss. This is important, of course, for every ETF. Without qualified custody, an ETF cannot get regulatory approval. So BitGo, they were founded in 2013. They're one of the most earliest and most trusted names in digital asset custody. Now custody is over 100 billion plus in dollars. Operates regulated trust companies in the US and offers institutional grade insurance. This track record makes it a go-to partner for Sonic and our ETF. What is an ETF? Oh, well, we don't need to know that. We already know. The ETF wrapper will hold Sonic tokens inside. BitGo will act as a custodian, storing these tokens with multi-sig security, institutional insurance protections, verifiable segregated accounts. In turn, investors can trust every ETF share is fully backed. That's good. And when we do get Sonic ETFs, you bet your bottom dollar I will be buying that. Why we chose BitGo is they bring regulatory compliance, scale, and experience with ETFs, and a reputation trusted by TradFi and crypto. I think they made a good choice. With BitGo, the Sonic ETF can meet regulatory standards, earn institutional trust, and open Sonic to global capital. It's not just about access, it's about doing it the right way. That's the Sonic way. But the ETFs are only, I'm sure, getting approved in America. If they do, whatever, I'll just buy normal Sonic tokens. But I'm hoping it comes to Canada too, although I doubt it. Because I checked their market cap placement, they're like number 96. They're like way at the bottom, which is saddening because I think this project has a lot of potential. They rose to 89. That is a lie. I saw it was 96. Okay, now it's 92. So which way is it? Anyway, forget that. But you get the point. World Liberty Financial updates. We had a drop. It was due to people fearing, like, what is happening? A Trump member is leaving the World Liberty Financial Group. What is going on with Justin Sun? His tokens are still frozen. Is he scamming us all? Eric Trump was removed from the board of World Liberty Financial's parent company, Alt 5 Sigma, to comply with NASDAQ rules, and World Liberty Financial tanks due to that news. People think it's a bad thing, but it's not really a bad thing. Sure, it sounds bad, like, oh, Trump is leaving World Liberty Financial. Eric Trump, sorry. So it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? This is why he did it. Eric Trump explains. He is... actually, this post explains it. This is an exit from the This isn't an exit from the project. He was moved to a board observer role after NASDAQ's request, a step required to comply with listing rules. So on the positive side, it shows the company is serious about meeting NASDAQ requirements, which is important. And the negative side, some people see it as losing a Trump name on the board, but in reality, it's more about regulatory alignment than politics. The path toward a NASDAQ listing looks cleaner now. So he did this, of course, for NASDAQ. He says that we are still 1,000% committed to World Liberty Financial. We're redefining the future of finance, and there are very few projects more excited with more potential with growth. I'm all in. So he's still full faith on the project and tells us not to worry. That price action is not looking pretty, though. So I'll wait it out a little bit. Lastly, we got Apple. They had an event yesterday, and they announced 2 new launches. The iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 Pro, and Pro Max, respectively. And also AirPods 3, AirPods Pro 3, or whatever they were. I heard from a friend, a little bit that I heard about, was that you can, like, somebody can talk to you and it'll translate it into your ears in real time or something like that. If so, that would be really good. Because we know how lackluster Apple AI, artificial intelligence, has been for Apple. They had to partner with ChatGPT, of course, OpenAI, to fix their AI problem because they didn't have their own AI. But anyway, the prices are through the roof. If you're going to spend... it's not that bad, actually. Actually, yeah, it is pretty bad. 1,200, let's see. I spent 1,600 on an S25 Ultra. No, I didn't. Most people don't have $500 in a savings account, but they always seem to have a new phone. Really makes you think, what? What are you talking about, pudgy penguins? This is why I sold you. Yeah, so there we go. That's all we have for news today. Good day for crypto, like the rising movements was awesome. Tragic day for political right-wing people, just people in general. Like, it's not even, this has nothing really to do with, like, what you believe in politics. This has to do with humanity. Nobody deserves to get shot for what they talk about or what they believe in, really. And it's not even that bad. Like, come on, you're actually, whatever. We hope we catch that bad guy and put him in the death penalty is my final wish. Anyway, that's all for today. Tomorrow, CPI data should make us pump or dump. I hope pump. It's looking like inflation could be low. If producers are making low inflation, consumers should be receiving low inflation. But that sometimes isn't the case. So we pump on the news that producer price index is rising. That way we could kind of infer that data and say, hey, if producers don't have a lot of inflation, they should adjust their prices so that consumers aren't paying that much inflation. So we'll see. Tomorrow will be the confirmation of that, but people are already speculating beforehand. I'm part of the crew that thinks, yeah, that inflation would probably be low as well. And it would further reinforce our hopes for either a 50 basis point rate cut or just 3 rate cuts of 25 basis points for the rest of this year. So yeah, that's all. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have